Hello, Kala.
Hello, viewers. Good morning. Can you see us? Can you hear us? This is Monad in
In
the
the
morning.
morning. Throughput
And
Thursday.
it
Throughput
is
Thursday.
Throughput Thursday. We are extremely back. It is a beautiful day. And I hope you think the show looks as good as I do today. Jessup and the media team have been cooking on some new graphics, some new backgrounds. Monad in the morning, we continue to level up the show, but we need the viewers to let us know if we are having any technical difficulties. Can you see us? Can you hear us? It would not be a Monad in the morning episode if we didn't have at least
If you could.
one minor.
Sound is good, looking good, looking great.
Looking
Nice.
great. Wow.
That's
Good.
so funny. We're like, can you see us? Can you hear us? It would not be Mon in the morning if you could.
Yeah.
If you could see us and hear us, this would not be the show.
If we didn't start the episode by talking amongst ourselves for 5 minutes with no
Yeah, I know.
no audio
Yeah,
and
nothing.
no
So-
video, what
And
would
it's
this be?
usually always something like banger. Like you have like the perfect monologue, you just delivered it, and they're like, "Yeah, we couldn't hear it."
This
Yeah.
conversation too, I feel like the viewers tune in, they're like, you guys couldn't have had this conversation just like before it started.
We have been for half an hour. We're just continuing to continue because we like to have fun on Monad in the morning. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely. What do we have coming up? This was, I don't even know if we should tell everyone that this was called Lull Week. This was called Lull Week internally because it is the last week until mainnet launches without some form of enormous news coming out. It's going to be nuts. So get your stretches in now. Time to get limber because we will be executing moving forward.
Yeah,
Only.
to be clear on the phrasing there, next week and beyond, we have things lined up. That doesn't mean mainnet launch specifically, but things related to the mainnet launch. Starting
And one of those weeks that is coming up will actually be the mainnet launch. It is going to launch. Monad is going to launch a blockchain called Monad.
and we certainly look forward to that. Gonna be a lot of fun. I think Claim Portal definitely got a bit of attention. I know people are looking forward to October 28th, a mere 5 days away
Oh yeah.
for the optional but amazing early reveal,
Mhm.
which will be taking place. So make sure check that Claim Portal. Certain patches, adjustments, edge cases have been made, so definitely worth checking again prior to the 28th and definitely prior to November 3rd when the Claim Portal officially closes forever.
Forever. If you do not hit your claim before November 3rd, it's never going to happen because it'll never open up again, ever again. I almost feel like I was just thinking of, when they do those commercials for like, I don't know, it's like, I'm just going to make up the name of a drug, but it's like Pravaxan. And then they
It
just
sounds legit.
they just list off like 45 seconds of disclaimers like
Yeah.
in the middle of the commercial.
That are all worse than the actual
Right,
thing
right,
that
right.
you're trying to
Right. They're
fix.
like, do you have knee pain? Take this. You may experience shortness of breath, passing out, potentially
Back
death.
pain.
Yeah. Yeah, your other Nate. No, but I almost I
Uncommon
feel
side
like,
effects, including death, may occur.
I feel like we need like to pre-record some legal disclaimers when we talk about something. We're like, so the airdrop claim portal, we just say the normal thing that like people are expecting. Then we're like,
I'll just
yes, if you participate in the early reveal, it will not affect your allocation. There's nothing that happens regarding your allocation besides you get to see some of it earlier, basically.
which is pretty cool. It's
Oh,
better
it's
to
epic.
it's always better to
Quick
participate.
question. Can I change the wallet to claim until November 3rd?
Yes,
Yes, you may.
you can change whatever you want until November 3rd. But just know that whatever you do beyond November 3rd will not impact what you did before November 3rd. That might be more confusing than the other one.
We're gonna have some fun though. That much is certain.
So, okay, we got what, 20 minutes before our first guest? Do you want to?
10.
10
minutes.
10
minutes
minutes.
before our first guest.
We got a
Okay.
banger lineup today for sure. We have Charco from T Plus joining us in a mere 10 minutes, followed by Patrick, CEO of Mu Digital. So two builders in the Monad ecosystem, two very crypto native builders coming on the show today. We're going to have a lot of fun for sure. But before we get into that, we've got 9 minutes of general news, updates, fun. What's going on, Kevin?
Yeah, we
First, the
had
chat wants to know: is everything good with your niece?
yes.
Oh, yes. Big
Yes.
congrats.
Yes, my niece. I forgot the last time we ran the show, I said today was going to be your birthday. It was. She was born. She is healthy. I am going to meet her this weekend. I'm actually traveling home today to go and see her. Um, yeah, she is 1 week old today. My mom texted. I thought something was wrong with my mom this morning. She texted into our family group chat, "Happy birthday!" To I guess it's happy birthday, Ellie. And I was like, "What the hell?" Like she was born, and then I was doing the math. I'm like, "Oh, the 1 week, like classic mom joke." Happy birthday! But yeah, she's doing great. Yeah, maybe I'll for anyone who's on stream, I'll get a picture with Ellie, and maybe put it out into the Twitter sphere this weekend. The news of the week, we had some of the biggest news for anyone who was around and enjoying media in 2021. Up Only podcast returning. Coinbase purchased the Up Only NFT for $25 million. It seemed a little bit outrageous at the time, but then the announcement the following day that Coinbase had acquired Echo for $375 million. Kobe, probably a billionaire now. Huge news. I don't know. Up Only. It is the single best crypto podcast that's ever happened. We even have our own crypto podcast, but Up Only is the best one. I got to be honest. Nothing. Okay. So on.
I got nothing.
Yeah. On that note, what else happened?
I mean, I am looking forward to seeing to tuning into Up Only again. It's definitely going to be a nice probably nostalgic feeling. 2021 emotions were pretty interesting
Extreme.
to say the least. Very very much so euphoria filled. So
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to tuning into Up Only. Very curious to see what guests they're going to bring on.
Yeah.
I think
Dude,
there's just a number of ways that you could go with it. Like they could probably get Larry Fink at this point, but they
yeah.
could also bring on some crypto natives.
Well, Kobe was talking about bringing on Jeff from Hyperliquid, but then Jeff from Hyperliquid went on TBPN yesterday. And I keep seeing this clip over and over of people being like, "That's my quant." And the two hosts, Jordy Hayes and John Coogan, asked Jeff, like, "What's the total size of the market like for Hyperliquid?" And Jeff's response was like, "Well, basically all of finance." And they were like, they couldn't get enough of it. They thought it was hilarious. Um, but Jeff from Hyperliquid expected to be one of the guests, if not the first guest. The funniest part of this entire thing happening is like the Up Only purchase of the NFT turned out to just be like a big attention grabbing marketing push for the Echo acquisition. But like Ledger just gets $12.5 million from the NFT purchase. So like it was done because it's Kobe's NFT. The money goes in and Ledger's like, "Thanks for building Echo and getting acquired and having this be a marketing stunt. Like I just got 12.5 mil."
It's a
Just
lot of bulldozers.
hilarious, dude. He has done nothing this cycle. I play fantasy football with him. He's actually the commissioner of our fantasy football league. And all he does is like hang out with his kids and like fucking like push dirt around with his bulldozers. And then he like made more than basically anyone in crypto this year.
But then didn't he come out? He's coming out pretty hot on the timeline over the past day or two.
He's just like pretending he's back. Like, "Lad, you're like 50 now. Like, you're not back."
I
But
forget he roasted someone out of nowhere. I think it's
Gainsey.
Gainsey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Gainsey. Gainsey's been really dragged through
I
the
know.
dirt this
Um,
past week.
but yeah, it is actually a huge step for Coinbase. Sonar which is the product for on-chain public sales, um, is like a very big product for the crypto industry in general. And now Coinbase acquiring Echo and so the Sonar platform, um, they basically own the token lifecycle from start to finish at this point. There's like early fundraising. You have, I mean, obviously listing and trading. They have their own L2 in base for coins to actually move and have like be able to build things, deploy things, and use things on chain. So Coinbase is really expanding. Yeah, basically the verticals that they're looking at, which is exciting. You
If
know,
you
you never 2 years ago you'd have never thought this would be happening in the U.S.
I was gonna ask, like, fast forward maybe another 2 years, how do you think, like how do you think Coinbase owning, like, token life cycle end to end affects, like, maybe non-crypto businesses considering launching a token or
Yeah,
something like that? Like, I would imagine the first couple will be, like, very, crypto native
yeah.
businesses, crypto native products, but beyond that, do you think, like, this opens up more of a path for, like, traditional businesses
100%.
to
Yeah.
get in?
Yeah. So Brian Armstrong went on TBPN 2 days ago when the news broke. Um, and yeah, he talked about, he's like, look, this is, it's a big step for Coinbase, but in the grand scheme of things, like it's just an obvious step on the path towards equities coming on chain, people like building businesses and launching tokens for those businesses. And Coinbase is going to own that product cycle. So he very much believes in a future where like equities are traded on chain. They're not just like derivative IOUs, so people can uh trade coins that like mean that they own equities, but like literally the stock itself exists natively on chain. He says that as the future of basically the financial markets, and they're making an aggressive push to establish themselves as the leaders of that pack. Um, and I don't know, shout out David Sachs, right? Like he's the crypto czar, and this has all happened under his watch. Um, I think that's the reason Brian Armstrong is looking at this and going, yeah, we want to bring equities on chain. I know Larry Fink has been saying this for like 2 years. Some of my favorite crypto clips are just Larry Fink monologuing like everything can be on chain, and it sounds just like your buddy who just learned about Ethereum for the first time, being like, "Oh my god, this is what crypto is." You're like, "Yeah, dude." Um, so yeah, they're Coinbase trying to bring that mission to life. Shout out on Alex on Chain who did the marketing around that. I'm sure that up only NFT idea was his idea. So shout out Alex. He's one of the goats in the industry.
Gigabrain idea, honestly.
Oh yeah. And shout out Ledger for just getting 12 million for literally being friends with Kobe.
What about Thread Guy and the Poly Market thing?
Yeah, shout out Thread Guy. Big
What
That
was it? Yeah, I saw the video.
second sponsor, second and only sponsor for the foreseeable future. Polymarket joins Phantom
Yeah.
in sponsoring Counterparty TV.
You know what's hilarious is like he just has those two enormous sponsors, and it's like Phantom sponsor and Polymarket sponsor, and then
giant.
and then there's a giant Melandac in the background. Like we just shoehorned our way in there by sending him like a 6-foot stuffed animal.
Well, we've heard from several Monad in the Morning longtime viewers that we should get a massive Melandac on the set here,
Mm.
and we would love to. However, we don't really have space, so
It's a little
We're
tight.
gonna be redesigning things a little bit, so we'll keep that in mind.
yeah, we're gonna do a little. You see the new stream overlay this week. Next week or maybe a couple weeks after that, we get
Oh,
some physical upgrades in here, make the show look better.
this is nice, dude.
Yeah, you like that?
This is a nice overlay.
It's great. They crushed it. The little animation in the corner. Can't hate that. But if you
Maybe.
do, let us know in the chat. Give us
Yeah.
your candid feedback.
Actually, just leave it alone.
Yeah. We
All
should
right.
we should green screen the middle so other people can use this for their own purposes when they're creating.
I mean, I can just send it to people.
There
If
you
you
go.
want this, ping Jessup. He will send it to you.
Heck
Okay.
yeah. All right. It's 10:20, almost 10:21. I'm gonna go get Charco, our first guest from T Plus.
Why
Dude.
does Blue say it's over for me?
For Jessup?
It's over for you, Jessup.
Oh my god.
What does that even mean? GM.
Yo. Charco.
Welcome. That's on a little swivel, so you can.
Nice. Hit the Joe Rogan. Pull that up right to your face.
Yeah.
Pull that right up to your face.
Hey Jamie, pull up that video of the
Yeah.
The aliens.
Yeah. Oh my god. Charco, how we doing, dude?
Dude, life is good. You guys must be excited. You got what, T-minus 5 days?
T-5 until the optional yet amazing reveal goes live on the claim.
That's just
portal.
the reveal. So when does the chain launch? Is that public yet or?
Not public yet. Public soon. Upcoming. It will launch soon. We do promise that.
Okay.
But
And before it launches, we will tell you the date of when it's going to launch.
yes,
The
that's
announcement of the announcement.
I love it.
This on stream is us announcing the announcement of the announcement,
Oh, nice.
which we love to do.
3 announcements deep.
There
You
you go.
guys heard it here first.
Inception.
exactly.
Must be exciting. Tech delays are frustrating, but you guys have weathered the storm bravely. I'm excited to get in the Monad trenches and buy the first 100x meme coin.
Many such cases. It's great to have you on. We got a lot to talk about for sure. Definitely want to unpack T Plus, talk about trading in general, what might actually transpire in the Monad trenches if and when mainnet does launch. But maybe good starting point would be super high level intro.
Definitely. My name's Charco. I was born at a very young age and studied finance, got into Bitcoin in undergrad, but went the TradFi route out of school, Fidelity, and then made my way into crypto during DeFi summer. Have been there ever since, doing various things, but most recently joined T Plus as head of consumer growth. T Plus is building optimal order flow execution, which is a confusing way to say we get you the best price on your trade.
That's a good thing.
It's what you want.
And is there, when I hear that, I think of, oh, okay, if I use like Moonshot, these guys, I use T Plus and I get better execution when I do that swap? Or is it like an aggregator with faster routes? Like, what is, to me as a user, what does that mean?
Yeah, so
I like better prices with the interface.
love better prices.
Yeah.
So like an aggregator like Monorail would quote you against the best available DEX liquidity on Monad. But then you've also got like solvers like Aori. So if you're trying to go from ETH to Monad, they've got inventory on both. And so they'll give you a price and you get filled on Monad with your order initiating on ETH, right? So an aggregator wouldn't like do that cross chain. The solver needs to be able to handle that. And then you've also got Monad trading on Binance. Binance has the deepest liquidity in crypto. So you're probably going to get the best price on Binance. But since AMMs tend to lag centralized exchanges every time the price moves on a Binance, market makers come and arbitrage it on the AMMs. Actually, one leg of the trade is going to be better on Monad, whether you're buying or selling, depending on what happened recently on Binance. You actually have a better execution on chain and a better execution on Binance, depending on what you're trying to do, buy or sell. So T Plus is not an aggregator. It's not a solver. It is a different other third thing. It is kind of like a prime broker, where we basically give your market makers optimal opportunity to quote against the best available liquidity, which will at times include centralized exchanges, will include on-chain liquidity, and then solvers can plug into it and fill those routes into whatever the best price is, whether it's Binance's or, on-chain, Purple Trade, Purple Sex Change, whatever.
There we go. And then follow-up question to that. When I hear prime broker, I think oh, if I'm not rich guy, I can't use this.
Exactly.
Is that the case?
It's a
Is T
decentralized prime broker, which means anyone with an internet connection can come get access to it,
Look
no
at
matter
that.
what jurisdiction. It's like if you took Falcon X and then put a trading terminal on it and let anyone interact with it.
That is sexy as hell. I'm excited about this.
Pretty sweet. We're
Um,
excited to be on Monad.
Yeah.
For sure. Excited to have you. As like you're specifically sitting on the consumer side of things, how are you thinking about basically like new users coming into crypto to trade? Like where do you think late 2025, 2026, like where do you think new users are coming from if that's like the main group that you're targeting?
When you think of new users, do you think of like users that are used to using Coinbase and they now want to do things on chain for the first time? Or are you thinking of people that are downloading the Coinbase app to buy their first ever Bitcoin?
I would say like the former in
So they
all
already have a
likelihood.
centralized exchange
Yeah, but I'm
relationship.
curious, and I only say that because I just think it's a much more viable path. Like
Right.
if you've never like invested in anything, then trading is probably a very abstract concept to you, even if like it's the simplest UI possible. But like honestly, kind of curious how you're thinking about user acquisition in general.
Totally. I mean, Danny, I don't think there's anyone on earth that hasn't heard about Bitcoin at this stage, right? So it's like by now, if you want it, then you've probably done the KYC and gone to your regional centralized exchange of choice and like got some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think the question is like, is there a generation of people that believe that they have outsized opportunity on chain? Or is there an app that they want to interact with on chain that they wouldn't be able to in centralized land? You know, because you can, if you're American, you can buy Bitcoin exposure through your broker
Sure.
through Fidelity.
Yep.
But it is tricky to teach someone how to custody their own private keys and all of that. That is but your question, the heart of your question is how is T Plus going to do user acquisition?
Yeah, basically. And like how are you thinking about it? Yeah, broadly.
Besides just coming on Monad in the morning, the best live stream for all your information on Monad. Yeah, what else is in store?
I think there's about 300 traders that matter in crypto that do the majority of the volume on any trading venue.
You're
A
like,
good
I know all of them.
I know
personally."
most of them. I know most of them. A good chunk of them are already invested in T plus. And then the rest of them respect the opinions of the people that, you know, already are involved with us. So there'll be a, you know, a ref code system and there will be an incentive to use the product. I think once people touch it and feel it, just the fact that you can deposit assets from any chain, trade any asset you want with optimal execution, and it's since it's off chain, it's in a trusted execution environment. You don't have the like cumbersome experience of clicking sign, confirm, connect wallet, blah, blah, blah. Every time you want to do something, if you want to ape a Solana meme coin, if you want to ape a Monad meme coin, you're doing it from the same website. And then like the experience is similar to an Axiom in that we'll just execute you against the best available AMM liquidity, and you never had to leave T plus, but the volume happens on Monad, the volume happens with Solana. So I think interestingly, what becomes sticky and important for these chains is to have interesting tokens and apps in their ecosystem, especially in a world where the rails become much more fluid between all these blockchains. How are you going to attract the volume to your chain? How are you going to have that sticky liquidity and in-demand asset? So that's what I'm interested in seeing, like the new Rift.
Yeah. So I have one question for you, and this thought has been in my mind for a while, and I think you understand it even better than I do. Monad will have a very efficient execution environment, right? It'll be very fast, very cheap, which means you can have central limit order books with market makers that are quoting tighter spreads than you can get on AMMs. Like
Yep.
the tech in the chain itself allows for more efficient trading than you can get in any other EVM environment. So what would follow from that is like, okay, if you are proposing that T plus can make swaps anywhere, right? To you know, person puts in order, you guys fill order with the best possible execution. it would follow that like for swaps where Monad is the most efficient place for those trades to execute, like T plus would just route a lot of those swaps to actually be happening on Monad.
Exactly.
And so it follows that like, okay, if T plus is say the 300 traders that actually do matter are all using T plus, the majority of trades that are happening by volume are being routed through Monad, which then brings in the spreads and makes them much tighter. And you kind of end up like, I guess my question would be, in theory, it seems like, yeah, since Monad is the most efficient execution environment, it's going to end up eating all of the swaps. Like, you know, that's kind of what on paper it would look like. In
All of the
practice-
swaps that you have liquidity for.
Right.
So, I mean, I think what we end up with is like a marketplace of monopolies where Monad has a monopoly on Monad token, Monad ecosystem projects, certainly. Will you have the deepest liquidity for Solana? That's expensive to pay for because you guys own your liquidity, right? Like if you're an on-chain order book, then your market makers are quoting both sides of the spread and they are posting liquidity in those quotes, right? And that's like the value of having on-chain liquidity. It's very good to have this. T Plus does not own its own liquidity. So we just tap into your liquidity, Solana's liquidity, Hyperliquid's liquidity. I'm sure that Hype will have the better Hype execution than a Monad Dex will, right? So I think, yes, you guys will eat all the flow for any asset that you're most liquid on, especially because you have such a great execution environment. But there's a couple chains that have really good execution environments to play devil's advocate.
So, okay, this is exactly what I was hoping to get into. Okay, so then say just for ERC20 tokens, Monad will be the most efficient place to trade any ERC20. But they're like on day one, for example, there might be much more liquidity on base for a pair than on Monad, in which case it'll be cheaper to do that swap on base. But when liquidity is about equal, like even say on an AMM, because Monad is more efficient, it will actually be cheaper to do the swap there with equal liquidity. And so you could see a world where like, okay, when everything is equal, Monad is more efficient, and that the swap happens there, in which case that brings in more liquidity, tightens the spread, and you kind of get this positive feedback loop. And I don't see why, if that starts to happen with some ERC20 tokens, that like then it doesn't just follow as these things get built up and Monad, like you cross the threshold to where Monad is faster and cheaper, even with the same liquidity, where like it ends up eating the vast majority to potentially all ERC20s. But like I don't know, like you don't have, I don't expect you to have like this is the exact answer.
Yeah, obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but just to game it out, what you're really talking about here is the trade-off between AMMs and CLOBs, or even like PAMMs, V3 style liquidity. But V2 style liquidity is such a waste of capital. It's so capital inefficient. So like, let's take a step back. Your initial situation is base versus Monad ETH token, we'll say. And let's say that there's comparable levels of liquidity. Price discovery happens on the most liquid venue, and we'll just say it's Binance for now. So let's say ETH trading at 4,000, and some whale on Binance puts in a huge order, and it goes to 4,100 on Binance. Very quickly after, it gets arbed on Monad because it's such an efficient execution environment, and the price is now trading at 4,100 on Monad. It's still at 4,000 on base in that AMM pool, in some Uniswap pool. So what is the best execution for me as a user? If I place an order to buy ETH, I want the 4,000 price that is stale. I want that old stale quote that's sitting in an AMM. And let's even say, base is very liquid and very active. There's a million chains out there. Scroll's price is wrong. Like who's arbing the Scroll Dex? So somewhere out there, there's a worse price, depending on how you look at it. So that AMM is going to eat toxic flow all day long. And I, the user, want that ARB. I want a better execution against a worse price. So they're still going to get volume, but their MMs are getting their face ripped off on LVR, loss versus rebalancing. You can think of it as just like the cost to have a bad stale quote available.
So that kind of is like on the ARB bot side of things. Like
Yes.
this is how like the whole crypto ecosystem, everything stays somewhat in line. But for non-toxic flow, right? Just hey, my name is Kevin and I want to buy a Bitcoin. I'm gonna buy it today. I'm gonna buy a wrapped Bitcoin. I go to T Plus, I put in my order, I want to buy one wrapped Bitcoin. Since it's not in this like do you see what I'm saying in that situation? If prices are the same, because it's not in some price discovery where market makers are arbing, in that situation, then it actually makes sense that liquidity equal, the swap would happen on Monad.
It's definitely faster and easier to get into Monad, get the price, and then rebalance and settle as a market maker than it is to do that on Binance. So if you're as liquid as Binance, all things held equal, you both have a club that's equally liquid, then yeah, feasibly
Oh, I see
Monad
what
would
you're
eat a
saying.
lot of flow.
But you're saying Binance is so liquid that like Monad's not going to eat that flow. Like Binance is
What's a
gonna eat
Monad block time?
that. Block time 400 milliseconds.
400 ms. Same with Solana,
Mhm.
right? Hyperliquid's what, 80 milliseconds?
Yeah.
They used to be like 200. Now they're down to 80. So fast. T plus 1 millisecond. Binance 1 millisecond. So there's 79 milliseconds between when a quote updates and when Hyperliquid's able to update their quotes. So their market makers have that 79 millisecond delay. Does this matter for the average user? No. Does this matter for the market makers that are quoting? Yes, because there's HFT funds that are going to be dumping toxic flow into those market makers. So the hyperliquid market makers are canceling and replacing orders more than the Binance market makers are. And the Monad market makers are canceling and replacing orders more than the hyperliquid. So that actually, those like 400 milliseconds actually matter a lot in terms of like getting a great.
But then I guess I would say like if I'm swapping on T plus, does that mean I like as an American citizen, I can't go log into Binance? But if I use T plus, or maybe I can't use T plus if I'm an American citizen.
We're not getting into Reg Arb here too much.
No, but I guess my question would be
The
like
market maker is referencing the best price. And if that market maker can access OKX or they can access Bybit or Binance,
they're making a swap for you.
they do it. You know, they say this is the price that we're willing to quote at because we know we can hedge at and fill at. And you know, the price is depegged on Hyperliquid or Purple, and we're hedging with perps. And the funding rate needs to be arbed. So like we can actually give you better execution than you would be able to get spot on Binance. Like there's all these little edge cases that could arise. But yeah, the user of T Plus is no KYC, decentralized, login, permissionless. Anyone can access it. We can't interact with it. We can't interfere. We can't freeze your account. It's DeFi. It's just off-chain DeFi.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Like the thing that I was trying to get to is like, okay, if you go and just say in an on-chain ecosystem, but I guess you guys are saying, yeah, but people are basically just slapping one side and offering it to you on the other, and that's the connection. So
yeah, so we're not an aggregator in that we don't like do the route. We let the market maker and the free market kind of decide and reference all the available liquidity.
It's very cool.
We're stoked about it. I can't wait to get you guys' hands on it.
Same here. And speaking of cool things, but also getting out of the like deep technicals, the branding is sick.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that because I have a gift for the pipeline crew here.
No way.
We've got T Plus branded cigarettes, Chinese
That's
cigarettes,
incredible.
Chonghuas, and a lighter to go with it.
Wow.
I would have brought 3 packs had I known.
This is fantastic. I think
Is there like a tagline? I feel like
the branding's sweet. This is awesome. This has got to go on the wall of fame for sure.
Sick.
For
Those
sure.
can be
Awesome.
mainnet cigarettes. You bust those out, have one when your end of the day, 7 p.m. on launch day.
When my first order goes through on T+.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Boom. There they are.
There you go.
This was my first impression of Marcus, the founder of T Plus. At ETH Denver at an Aori solver event, I was hanging outside smoking cigarettes, and he shakes my hand. Nice to meet you. What do you do? It's T Plus. Okay, what's that? He said some explanation that didn't make sense to me at all. And then he handed me a pack of cigarettes. And I remembered it for sure.
Dude, I feel like you need to have some tagline on here that's related. There's so like I don't even know what you could do, but like T plus, like smoke your competition, like like something like that. You know, it's like it would be so perfect. Like,
No, that's really good.
yeah,
Trading on chain doesn't kill you, our merch will.
yeah,
Barry, I hope you're listening. Our merch guy.
yeah.
You listening?
You're like, you know, trading on chain is bad for you too. You do it anyways, like something like that. I don't know. There's a lot you could do.
It's very funny.
These are fantastic. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah. Enjoy.
Oh, certainly.
Chain smoking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Man, I had some like monad related questions, but they all kind of involved like mainnet. I think
Oh.
we're pretty much through them.
Chain smoking.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Chain smoking.
That took a second to sink in.
I know, but it's like you're routing from
It was a
the
delayed
centralized
reaction.
exchanges too. Yeah, you're chain smoking.
Gears are turning.
Oh my goodness.
Who's been like the most memorable guest that you guys have had on a pod? It's been like what, 2 years of you guys doing this? A year?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably one of my favorite moments. I gotta shout out Tunes on this one. We had Mert and James come on at the same time,
Sick.
and we had them debate one another, except James
it.
had to advocate for Solana and Mert had to advocate for Monad.
I love that.
And so it was definitely an interesting conversation. We got some good clips out of that one for sure. But
A real
we've-
steel man.
we've had some awesome guests. Any favorites? We had Ledger on like a year ago, and we just talked
yeah.
about like farm equipment for like an hour.
Yeah, we asked him about his bulldozers for like the entire episode, basically.
Yeah.
Very sick.
Wait,
Wait,
I don't
he
know,
lives
he's
on
not
a farm
doing
now? I think is that
No,
like
we
the
just
optimal-
joke. We just joke.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like that. Yeah, he's down south. He really does just like a ton of excavating and landscaping. Like he just loves being outside, and he has his kids and his family. Like he's kind of just like if you could imagine like a normal 45-year-old is doing everything that they want to do in their dreams, like sitting around, have a beer on a Saturday, drive his tractor around. Like that's literally just what he's doing.
If I have unlimited income, cash,
Mhm.
I'm buying an excavator.
Yeah. Especially if you got $12.5 million for literally doing nothing this week, I would buy an enormous excavator.
Yes. Yeah, that would be really fun. My neighbor in Asheville has like an excavator, and from time to time I'd use it or like ask him to come use it and like move a big rock out of my yard.
My brother-in-law, same deal. He'll just like go out and take down a bunch of trees for like no reason, but like that's what he wanted to do on Saturday, and now their yard has a few less trees in it, and that's that. So
People
sick.
love doing that.
Yeah.
I can't wait until that's like, yeah, I have time to just go remove a tree. Dude.
Yeah, there's something to be said for it for sure. You just go like in your own way, lock in, just alone with your thoughts.
I got an
Just
electric
Ledger,
chainsaw. Electric chainsaw. I can't say enough good things about not a corded electric chainsaw, like a
Mhm.
DeWalt battery power electric chainsaw.
Yeah.
It can't handle like a huge tree removal. But dude, you're cutting down like medium-sized trees that were probably fine to leave there. Very fun.
Like-
Very entertaining.
This
Yeah.
is the most Ledger status conversation. Somebody clip this and I will DM it directly to Ledger because he will love this conversation.
That man definitely has an electric chainsaw. Electric
Oh, yeah.
chainsaw and electric blower. Dude, there's nothing more satisfying than freeing every leaf from your driveway
Oh my
with an
god.
electric blower.
I can't wait to be mid-30s.
So
This is like this is my dream. Maybe late 30s.
I was doing this mid-20s for the reference.
Yeah.
now I'm
I'm just
30.
in Manhattan. Like if I had an electric blower, what would I do? Like blow the dust out of my apartment? Like it's not like what do you they clean the streets.
I did just get a air purifier. I think it's actually a big life upgrade because everything just
I have
got
one of
dusty
those.
so fast.
Yeah.
For like a year, I didn't think about solving this problem.
Mm.
Yeah.
Air purifier is great. Especially if you're smoking chains like this.
Sucks it right up.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
gotta keep it clean.
You're like, wait, no, my air is too dusty in my room. Like, that's gonna kill me.
That's the thing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm on
We're
like
gonna
a
solve
2
it.
cigarette a day run rate. I don't think it's gonna get me, but it could maybe.
Yeah,
Could
no.
get me.
I think I'm not
Plus
gonna
the
comment on
coffee.
the health effects of cigarettes live on Monad in the mornings. Throughput Thursday.
I mean, Palmer
Danny
Lucky
B.
just went on some like big podcast. I know he was on TBPN. I don't think this was a take from TBPN though, because he was like on stage with a host, and he was like, "Yeah, I basically think cigarettes are good for you." Is what
That was his
the
take?
The point
Love
of his
that
take
take.
was. Yeah.
Uh,
He's been really making the rounds lately, and just
the first time I saw him was TBPN. Who is this guy?
he's
He's like a derivative Theo Vaughn.
so you've watched Silicon Valley, right?
Love it.
You know the guy who like I can't even do this because I can't. Do you remember that guy's name? Who was like supposed to be Palmer Lucky? Like,
Yeah,
there's a
I don't
Peter
remember his
Thiel
name,
guy
but
on
yeah,
Silicon Valley.
absolutely.
He like no, not Ehrlich. He like invented the VR glasses.
Oh yes, dude.
He's got the same energy as like Alex Hart a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, he goes through the entire show is basically just raising funds to make his demo better, so then he can go use the better demo to raise more funds.
Many
He just
such
sells the
cases, by
dream.
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the really the only parallel I know. I just founded a couple
He's
cool
just like
companies.
he's just a hype man, a dream seller.
Yeah, and he's certainly out there. He's got a very cool look. He's got
Yeah.
the mullet going. He'll wear a suit.
He looks like Danny
Flip-flops.
McBride. And
Yeah, he
Tropic
does.
Thunder. Like he looks nuts.
Unreal. Clip it. See if he likes that.
Yeah. Danny McBride probably will. That guy's probably on Cameo. We could get him to shout out Monad in the mornings, I bet.
That would be an absolute dream for sure.
Right. Shake and bake.
But speaking of on-chain smoking, what are you getting up to?
What am I
on-chain
smoking
these
on-chain?
days? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you smoking in the
Jeez.
digital trenches?
I've been testing out a couple of these like RWA perp dexes. I'm kind of interested. Do you guys believe like all finance will eventually settle on chain? Is that a thesis you buy? Is that even something we want or need?
How about this? I'd say directionally, that's right.
Mhm.
It's certainly going to be more than today. I don't know if it eats everything forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're at like 2% right now, I think it's reasonable to assume like a 10 to 20x.
If you want to shore up your conviction on that thesis, the guy you have to talk to is Raj. We did a podcast with Raj yesterday. Raj is head
They're
of
capital markets. They're really Solana. Sorry.
yeah.
Solana.
Other different Raj though.
Oh,
Yeah.
That Raj is goated for sure, but
Yeah.
we have our own
Our
Raj.
Raj.
Oh,
We have
This is
our
our
own Raj
Raj.
here at
well,
Monad Foundation.
okay, my bad.
Head of definitely
Stablecoins
understandable.
and payments.
Yeah.
I think it is title.
Yeah, Raj is head of payments stablecoins, was formerly director of crypto product at Visa and founded Portal, which is stablecoin infrastructure acquired by Monad Foundation a couple months back.
Acquisition.
So he's like seeing very much so both sides of the coin, like TradFi side at Visa, but
Good pun.
exploring blockchain.
Good
Yeah,
pun.
of course. I've got puns in the pipeline. Anyhow, Raj, yes, absolutely goated takes, and you just got to talk to him, or if you don't have the opportunity, please listen to the podcast, which will release pretty soon. But he's got some awesome takes for sure, and basically one of the like fundamentals of his thesis is like Swift banking system started as like somewhat decentralized, and so there's just this huge thesis that ultimately decentralization and crypto can make these markets more efficient, better, and more equal opportunity for all. And I'm certainly hopeful to realize that. But
Dude, we talked about this earlier, but Jeff from Hyperliquid's take on TBPN yesterday was like,
Oh, I didn't watch it. I just saw like
oh my god,
summaries.
no, there's this hilarious tweet that's just like, that's my quant. And that there's there's like a 1-minute clip of him, and the host asks him like, all right, so what's like how big can Hyperliquid grow? And he's just straight face like, just yeah, in a good case, it's just all of finance, like coordinating all of human behavior. And the hosts are just like giggling to themselves. but like, yeah, that's the answer, right? It's like,
Yeah.
how much? Like, I don't know, with some good innovation and good pushes, like, could be all of it. I could see that.
Two directions I would be interested in going. One, I recently have been reading up on China's like gold corridor. Are you
Mm.
guys up to speed on this?
I'm not.
But
It sounds like a TikTok that my brother would watch.
I think I know what you're getting at, but to make sure I don't make myself look extra dumb today, I'll let you take the reins on it.
Yeah, to make myself look smarter, I could have just avoided this topic, but let's
We need more
try.
conspiracies in the
Yeah,
market
yeah,
series,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is a good one.
Well, they're just like alternative facts, you know, or like unproven. Well, actually, like
alternative facts.
I actually think this is a real fact. So basically, set the stage. Gold used to back everything. Gold backs not much now, but all these banks hold it. But China recently was like, all right, we want people to start settling in yuan more. How can we give people more confidence in the yuan? We'll make yuan and gold redeemable.
Oh, I didn't catch
So you
that.
can go take your yuan to China and they'll give you physical gold. But then people are like, all right, like, where is the gold held, China? And they're like, it's all in China. And they're like, nah, I'm good. So what China did more recently, guys, fact check me on this, but what China did more recently is they established a gold corridor where there's like basically a decentralized network of banks that custody gold that you can redeem yuan across a large swath of the world, not just China.
Oh,
So it's like a physical blockchain with physical gold redemptions, and the yuan's collateralizing it.
So
interesting.
Peter Schiff on Thread Guy yesterday announced that he is doing an RWA payments crypto project that's basically just gold for payments.
Sick.
Yeah. And
Oh.
it sounds like maybe the exact opposite of this, but I don't know.
I mean, like, why would you not want to use gold for payments? It's more volatile than a fiat currency, and then physical redemption's heavy. So also China said, we'll just swap you at the 200-day moving average spot price of gold. So you don't pay like a terrible price on one day, better price. You get the 200-day moving average.
Yeah.
That's
isn't there just like an enormous arb that you could just slap there? Like,
good question.
Yeah.
It seems like there's certainly
this
would
is
be.
where the alternative
Yeah.
facts
You guys
become
go
alternative.
research this yourselves. I read a couple threads.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Schiff's take would be like, okay, well, in reality, the gold is not volatile. Your dollar is volatile. Gold is maintained. But no, I hear you. It's very interesting to see. One thing is for sure, payments will not look the same as they do today 5
Right.
years from now.
100%.
I would not be pumped if I was like entry-level employee at Visa right now.
Right.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right. And the other thread I want to pull on is
Oh wait, I also, just to correct the record quickly, my brother does not use TikTok.
Oh.
I was just imagining the conspiracies I've seen on TikTok. This is a flavor that I would fall into. So
yeah. This was like a combination of YouTube. I haven't seen anything on TikTok, but I looked it up on Twitter after I watched it.
There's extreme conspiracies on TikTok. But sorry, just to correct the record.
Yeah.
Take it away, Chuck.
Okay. We don't want to defame.
I don't want to defame intern Brom. He was
Yeah.
like, TikTok Zoomer, fucking
Reels guy.
Yeah, he's
YouTube
like, God
Shorts,
damn
bro."
it.
I think that's good though. We need Zoomers.
Oh, we need TikTok ones.
I just squeaked into Zoomer. I think you did too.
Yeah, I'm a Zoomer.
You guys 95?
94? 98.
98.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, I'm a Zoomer.
What's the cutoff again?
I think it's like 97 at some point, 96 maybe.
Yeah,
right around there.
something like that.
Squeaked in on Zoomer. Used to be really upset about it, to be honest, and now I've grown rather proud.
What, you wanted to be hanging out with the millennials? It's like the worst brand.
That's what I thought, I guess. But
What was the follow-on conspiracy? Sorry, I cut you off. He hopped in.
It wasn't really a conspiracy. The thread we were pulling was like all of on-chain, all of finance on chain.
Yes.
What if it doesn't look like traditional equities? I mean, the securities laws are 80 years old at this point. So what if like what we're imagining as settlement for securities doesn't actually have to happen just that way on chain, but there's a new third thing where ownership of a company starts looking different in a world where crypto is like the default?
I would say if that starts to happen and become accepted, there is an enormous surface area for smart people to extract value.
Yes, true.
On the path to a much better future.
True.
Like the thing that I'm thinking,
We're in the
right,
middle
is
of that.
like that was the first. Now crypto has ruined my brain. That was the first place my brain went, because like I'm starting to imagine what you're thinking. It's like, okay, well, I want to bet on the revenue or like the free cash flows of this company. Like I can
Sure.
own that token specifically for this company that's going. You don't have to just have an equity that is all encompassing.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, if they start splitting this shit up, like people are gonna go in and start like, all right, well, this is equity, and just flip the numbers around. It'll be like the first wave of altcoins or like ICO era.
Imagine buying YTs on what's the waste management WM? What's
Waste
that stock?
management?
Yeah. Are
Uh,
you familiar with that stock? They're just like a dividend machine,
there you go.
and it's just like
Yeah,
it's garbage disposal. Like it's recession proof. Like it just always prints dividends.
Mhm.
Imagine buying the YT.
Oh my god. There you go. But that's what I'm saying. Like if they don't just look like if it actually takes a new form, there's a lot of experimenting that will happen on the
Right.
path to figuring out what that looks like.
Have you guys looked into MetaDAO?
Yes, I have actually heard more about MetaDAO in the last 2 weeks and my entire life before that. But
No.
Same here.
yeah, would you like to break it down for the Mon of the Morning viewers?
It's kind of like a. You remember how DAOs sucked and were useless?
Yeah, remember DAOs?
DAO's probably still a good idea. But like I guess the MetaDAO thesis is if you make the tokens and voting more impactful and like actually like kind of make good on the promise of DAOs, which is how can I align token holder interests and the foundation operators, etc. interests in a way that like helps the token price go up. Like every vote goes through. I guess they have like trading to vote, so you have like financial incentive to like vote correctly, and it's not just like the guy with the most tokens just like stakes them and just like brute forces everything through.
The golden rule.
Yeah.
The man with the gold makes the
Yeah.
rules.
So I guess it's like a better way to vote on things, and then you have this outcome where you're much more aligned with the explicit mission of making the price go up, or
Yeah,
things
like
that are in the best interest of the
the
price.
futarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is quite a few questions. if
Okay.
you
I
guys
think
want-
we probably only have time for one. Kevin, I know you have to
I
drop.
have to drop.
And I actually I've been scoping out this question for a couple minutes now. I'll let Kevin untangle himself from that chair.
Yeah.
First.
They strap me in these days.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
we
you
gotta
can
give
just
you a
sneak
seatbelt.
out and just
Yeah. Just sneak out. You gotta go through the lines then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get your trash out. Get your
Bye, Kevin.
Pleasure.
Hope you find your dad.
Yeah. All right. The final question. It's a big question. What is from VVIE3M, ask Charco, what is your mustache care routine?
Wow, great question. And not something people ask me about enough.
I figured, and we had to call it out.
there was a lot of chat just bigging up your mustache. So
I love it. Thank you guys. Unfortunately, at this point, it's like such a part of my identity and face. I can't remove it. Like I'll shave it from time to time, and I walk into rooms, people are like shocked, like horror. So yeah, I'm pretty committed. But the key is to trim it up daily. I use a Norco, I think it's called. What's that, like the green?
Oh, the Norelco?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Philips?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that thing's a classic.
Big fan of that thing. Just recently, within the last year, discovered it. It changed my mustache care routine. But I hit the bottom. I keep it off my lip, so I just hit this daily. Otherwise, it like kind of looks scraggly, gets out of control. I keep it trimmed up around here. Every now and then, I'll like accidentally get too much of it, and it'll be like a lopsided mustache. And then at that point, like I'll consider shaving it. And then within 2 weeks, we're back. But there is no ointment. There's no like, I don't know. People have beard oil or whatever.
All natural?
Yeah,
good
and
genetics.
I'm committed. Sorry, what?
Good genetics.
Good genetics. Well, the genetics have like dictated that all I can grow are these two. Like nothing comes in here. So I'm locked into this look. I don't have the option for like the full beard. I'd love to try it.
It's a
one
good
day.
look though.
Thank you.
It's a good staple to to have, I think.
When I go to Turkey to do the hair transplant up here, I might actually ask them to like fill out the sides. I don't know if they can.
I don't know if that's possible. But
We'll see. But I'll just be out of commission for a year. You won't see me on
experimental.
just puffy face, swollen all over.
Well, either before, after, or both. We'd love to get you back on Monad in the morning. This has been a ton of fun, and
An
really
absolute
looking forward
pleasure.
to T plus. Lot of things in the pipeline. Another great pun from me. Thank you, chat. Yeah, lots to look forward to. Definitely go follow Charco. Go follow T plus. It should be on the screen. If you don't follow them already, you're crazy. So go ahead and do that now. Charco, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Justin, we got an intermission today?
Yeah, I'm just gonna play.
Awesome. Okay, we are back. Monad in the morning, my favorite day of the week, and it should be yours as well. Our next guest needs no introduction, but I'll give it anyways. We have Patrick, CEO, co-founder of Mew Digital. Patrick, welcome.
Thanks, guys. No, it's awesome to be on the pipeline. I've been following you guys forever, and since I came to Monad, this was like one of my goals to be here in the seat. So it's awesome to be on with you guys.
Pleasure to have you. We have probably more footage of you on our hard drives than maybe anyone else. Certainly, you're at the top of the list. Um, Spent a lot of time with Savant at the founder residency at
Yep.
Network School, and we still have quite a bit of content coming out of that experience. Most notably, the docu-vlog. We love to give a little alpha on Monad in the morning, and I don't think we've talked about the docu-vlog much, if at all. But we followed 5 different founders on their journey of 2 weeks at the Monad Founder Residency, locking in, focused on growth and go to market. So a lot of fun content upcoming from that, but curious if you had any takeaways on the founder residency experience overall.
Residency was awesome. So I think, the first part of it, why were we all there? We were all there because as we know that mainnet is coming up, we all just really need to lock in on our GTM, our growth strategies. There was a large component about getting our pitches right. There was a demo day at the end of residency, which we were lucky that we participated in the demo day. Part of the reason why I'm in New York now is part of the fundraiser is trying to lock that in. But as far as the pipe, it was awesome, like in residency, because basically, just being mic'd up and followed around by the pipeline for like 2 weeks straight. So, there's a lot of cool content that I know that you guys are working on. We did a lot of serious stuff when we were actually building and shipping. A lot of fun stuff that I don't want to drop too much alpha that we did on the weekends, which were I think Preen had a lot of fun just like messing with us and hazing us, but it was fun. So the residency experience, I would say, all the teams that were there, some of them have been names that have been around for a while. So I was part of cohort 2. So, guys like Kizzy, guys like Leverbet have definitely been in the community for a long time. But I think that the foundation did a good job too of there were some newer faces of
Yep.
teams that, even I was meeting for the first time, but really, really cracked founders. So I think just really being around them for those 2 weeks in that enclosed environment pushes all of us, and we all, have different takes on like what we're trying to build. But I loved it. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, one of the things that's been so exciting to me ecosystem wide is like founders in the Monad ecosystem are building relationships with one another, connecting in a very like organic and collaborative way. And I think that's gonna, come mainnet and the months following. I think that's gonna be pretty impactful when you see like different projects collaborating together on growth, user acquisition, go to market, finding ways to potentially incentivize users to stay in the Monad ecosystem, check out a number of different projects, and so lot of hope and excitement there. I can remember, spending time in the Solana ecosystem from a pretty early stage, and different approach, but the hacker houses and IRL meetups really got people together. I think we've seen the same thing happening on the community side as well, and just very, very bullish currently on IRL meetups and community ecosystem collabs as well.
No, for sure, and even on the community side. So I think I'm lucky that so we're based out of Singapore, but we are very active all over the Asian market because that's part of our product is understanding what's
Yep.
going on in all the different markets within Asia. So the NADS community is all over. Whether you're talking about the China NADS, Korean NADS, Japan NADS, Thailand NADS. Like I've been in almost every single one of those, or events with some of them.
Sure.
Playing beer pong with the Thai NADS, like the Filipino NADS, like the karaoke. Like being on a rooftop eating like fried chicken in Hong Kong with the China. So in Japan, I was recently there for WebEx, and like the community like made me this like bracelet. It was like dope. So it's like I feel like those interactions, as we've sort of been building in Monad for a while, they just sort of snowball on each other because then you start seeing the same people everywhere and sort of across different markets. But that, on top of like the eco component of it, the community has been like super dope for us, and we always enjoy, being a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are one of the teams that certainly have been around the ecosystem for a good while now, so you have like time on your side to an extent, but
Yeah.
really it's definitely been impressive like the to see you getting in the trenches literally with the
Yeah.
community and the chats, making content. And it's paid dividends. Like I've seen so many different community mentions of Mu Digital over the past months. It's like it's clear that that compounding effect is in place. And speaking of product, and you know, the foothold in Asian markets, Asia community. Can you give like high level overview in case anyone's not aware? What are you working on from a product standpoint?
Yeah, so for those that are new to Mu Digital, our mission is to provide an access gateway for all the best Asian investments. And so for our first product, what it is you can swap your stable coins into one of two of our products, which are both yield tokens, which are backed by some of the fastest growing Asian governments, Asian corporations, as well as private credit deals. So we are taking assets that exist in the traditional markets, but we're bringing them on chain. But the whole thrust of why we even think it's important is these assets are not available to the everyday investor, whether you're in crypto or not. So what we're saying is our experience is we have these network and relationships that we've built over our careers, both my co-founder and I, across the entire Asia Pacific region. And we are just trying to deliver and find all the most attractive investments, and then deliver them in a form that DeFi users are familiar with in a yield token, and they can go play around in the DeFi ecosystem.
Super cool, first of all. Um, how do you have the relationships to make these deals possible? Because I would imagine like it's a good opportunity for investors, generally speaking. It's uh lucrative in some sense. There's a market for it. People want access to these investments. What is it about like you and your team that this is now possible?
Yeah, so maybe just a little bit of a background on myself and my co-founder. Both of us have investment banking backgrounds,
Okay.
but when we say that, I started my career at when it was still Merrill Lynch, in Singapore, over a decade ago. So both my co-founder and I ran desks at global investment banks, where what our job was to originate deals, and what that means is we actually have to be in the markets and have relationships with banks. Corporations. And from an Asian context, what that usually means is you actually have to know who the families are behind each one of these businesses. The Asian market, I think, in itself it's a beast because there are so many different countries where the dynamics are very different. So if you want to do business in a place like the Philippines or Indonesia, that's very different than doing business in Korea, Japan, or even Singapore, like where we're based. Our jobs were to cover all these markets, to build relationships, and within our old context, if we didn't have the ability to originate deals, like we would get fired. Like that was our KPI. Every single deal is, or every single year is, you must originate X amount. Like, and this is like in the scale of billions of dollars of deals, like for the investment bank. So we both come from this background. Is what we're good at doing. We're good at being out in the markets, building relationships, like on an institutional level with corporations, with banks. And essentially now what we're saying is we're using these relationships that we've built over the course of our careers, but now bringing all these investments on chain. What's interesting with this is, particularly in the Asian market, we're starting with fixed income products. So things like bonds, things like loans that have some fixed yield attached to it. Asia has a little bit of a different dynamic than other markets like the US and Europe. I started my career here in New York, so I'm very familiar with the landscape here. What I saw when I moved out to Asia was most of these investments they're super gate kept. So you could find really interesting deals that don't make it outside of the borders of that country. To use specific examples, so sovereign credit. In crypto, I think one of the biggest assets that's been tokenized is a US Treasury. So Ondo started the trend. There's a lot of companies out that sell tokenized US Treasuries. The equivalent of that in Asia would be a sovereign debt. So for example, like the Republic of Philippines issues debt. The yield on that now is almost twice what a US Treasury is. The risk of that is not necessarily higher if you look at it from, will this country ever default? The Philippines has never defaulted since the inception of, at least the current regime, like post World War II. So you could say that it's not riskless. You are taking some risk above U.S. Treasury, but if you're getting a 7% yield versus a 4% yield today, it's much more attractive. But people just can't get it because one, they probably don't know it exists, and then two, they don't know how to navigate the financial system to get access to this. So this is kind of like just an example of what we're trying to bring.
Super cool. So basically, like, you're taking assets that are hard to like get access to, basically, and so hard to get access to that you may not even be aware that this opportunity exists. You're aggregating these on chain. You're making access to these investments permissionless,
Mhm.
so that anyone from anywhere, regardless of what, financial system you're like imprinted in, or what country you're from, has access to these yields.
No, that's exactly right. And I think I would take that a step further and say I feel like RWA has become somewhat of a buzzword in crypto, especially in this cycle. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now what people are saying is, tokenize everything, every financial asset, or not even just financial assets, tokenize sneakers and tokenize healthcare claims and tokenize, art and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yep.
That's actually like what I guess that's the meme now. It's tokenize everything.
I saw, not to interrupt you, but I saw the Louvre theft. Someone, I think it was a total meme, but someone tweeted like, "Oh, thank God these assets were saved as NFTs on chain, because the physical assets has been stolen, but in reality, nothing has changed. You still own the art. Thank God we're saved."
Well, and that's exactly the point. So before you just say like, sure, like anything could be on the blockchain, like a digital representation of anything could be on a blockchain, but the first question is like, should it be on the blockchain and why? And so we start with if it's not a product that's useful, then you don't need to build it, right? And so that's why, we are categorized within like RWA because that's sort of like the asset class that we sit in. But we started with the problem of I guess two sides is, one which I was describing, which is there are all these like cool investments which like people they don't know about and don't have access to. So that's like the first. The second, more from like a crypto, like a DeFi up perspective, is we really like my co-founder and I are both we've been playing around in DeFi since DeFi summer. So and even when it was like ICOs before that, we've been following all this like financialization of like assets. And there are just a lot of things on chain that like should not be coming on chain because as far as yield perspectives, a yield in crypto isn't what you would think of yield in the real world. When people think of yield products in the real world, they're supposed to be safe, reliable. If you say that you're going to get 5% return, then it should always be 5% because it's backed by some cash flowing asset where it's that there's stability behind it.
Yep.
If you look at the yield landscape today in crypto, I almost feel like the term yield it's actually just speculation because you don't know in a lot of times what's behind it. And if you look at yield farms in DeFi today, oftentimes it's a very low yielding base asset, usually something like US Treasury, but people still offer, hey, like you can get 70% yields on this because what they're actually doing is they're multiplying points, which you actually don't know how the value of that point will play out once a company TGEs. They're also based on governance token emissions. So when people say, hey, like, like you can earn like 40% APY on this thing, it's like, really? Like, and if you just look at the history of even in this cycle, those 40% yields like just drop to usually not negative, but, from like 40 to 4 in this cycle. So
And
we
that
feel
30%, that 36% was just like your risk.
it was vaporware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically you were just being farmed, by the product. So for us, we also think it's important for DeFi as just an ecosystem is to have a more attractive base layer of assets. And that's where we think that we come in because our products, one product is a 7% yield, the other product is a 15% yield. We're starting to announce like more publicly, like how our actual product suite will look, which is a little bit different than testnet. But we want that 7 and 15 to be a newer and better base layer for DeFi. You should still do everything you want to do in DeFi. You should still go leverage loop it in a money market. You should still go to Pendle and trade the yield strip and then trade the PTs. And by the way, Mu Digital is partnering with all these type of things, and that's the way we're building our product. But starting at 15% is much better than starting at 4%. And that's sort of, on the demand side, that's why we think it's valuable to DeFi.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, okay, assume a world where you don't have any competition. Where is the product in like 2 years in terms of asset offering? And pick any time frame you want. I
Yep.
just totally arbitrarily threw out 2 years, but what I'm getting at is basically like, how is this vertical going to grow? You go from RWAs as like largely a buzzword to now new financial instruments with more democratic global access. What does that like unlock as this, starts to get rolled out?
For Mu Digital, the Asia component of our story is actually a very important component of the story, because what we saw was there's actually no one in crypto today that at scale is focusing on the Asia Pacific market. We think that you can't ignore Asia. If you just look at the data, I would say depending on which like GDP stats you look at, it's roughly half of all global GDP comes from Asia. More than or almost 2/3 of the global growth, that's being projected is coming from Asia. So if you're not accessing one of the growth engines of the globe, you're basically just missing out on things that you could be accessing. So for us, we see ourselves as a portal and an access gateway to the Asian market, just because of the experience that we have and the ability for us to like source these type of investments. We're starting with yield investments and we're starting with fixed income, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the ability to bring other types of Asian assets on chain. Whether right now, like tokenized equities is sort of having its day, and it's going through, like Ondo and all these guys are pumping tokenized equities. We've published podcasts about our personal views on that sort of product. We think it needs to go through different iterations. But there's many forms of like Asian investments or exposure you can get to the markets, to the companies in the region, which for us, like that's actually what our wedge is. And we want to continue to bring on these sorts of products on chain.
Definitely. I want to hit on some community questions
Awesome.
as well. This one little bit more lighthearted, but we asked a question from VVIE3M
Mel.
earlier. No?
Mel. That was Mel. VVI3 is Mel.
Oh, well, consistency in the name definitely
Would've
helps with identification. But Mel, shout out Mel. We love Mel. Why does the name start with Mu? Are you a Manchester United fan?
Oh, that's an interesting take. So there's a big story behind this, and our mascot Mulish is part of that. Is part of that story.
Epic mascot, by the way.
And I just as an aside to the story, this was not the first form of our mascot. When we envisioned him, because we're kind of like, we're both ex Wall Street guys, so and we do have a comic which like we revealed in our X, and if you look at like the timeline, we tried to evolve him as like a really like buff, like intense, like Dragon Ball Z type like bull, and then our community just ran with it, and they basically like made him like a really cute, like now I can make him a plushie because he's like a really cute like baby bull. So yeah, that's how like our mascot got formed, and like the community loves it, so we like it, and we like giving these plushies. He likes playing with monables, so I think after this he can go on the pipeline set.
Oh,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
by all means, we're building it out. It's coming along back there. We've got some cool collectibles and prizes, and you could put them on chain, but maybe
Yeah.
that's one of the things that you don't really have to.
But back to the Mu Genesis story, like why Mu Digital. My co-founder and I, we both come from Merrill Lynch. It's actually where we met. So when I first moved out to Singapore, this was like back in 2014. My co-founder was actually one of the first people that I met, and we were colleagues. So I was on the mergers and acquisition side. He was on the debt capital market side. So it was very formative for the both of us in the way that we worked, because the Merrill work culture is a very like old school, like Wall Street, hard charging, but at the same time like fun culture. It's a very
Okay.
like work hard, play hard culture. Which if you ever hang out with Cholo and me, in events, you'll see that's kind of like both of our personalities. We're very serious at work, but like we like to have fun. So it influenced the way that we wanted to build the culture within our company. And we were kind of like, so we knew that certain elements of Merrill we wanted to build around when we were starting our company. The bull was one, but like our version of the bull. The colors were one. So, you know, like the dark blue that we built our like color palette around was actually like the Merrill color palette. But then when we're thinking about names, we're like, okay, well, we know we want the bull, so we want to like incorporate this somehow in our name. Like, what do bulls say? Like, do they say moo or mew? All right, Mew Digital. That's it. And then, that's just that's how we built the name.
Bingo. Love it.
The chat is saying that they want one of those plushies on the Spindlewood.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's not up to me. I don't know. Maybe.
The alpha is, you know, if you want a Mew Digital plushie, like, come check us out. Like we're in like a bunch of events, and we'll always like post like where we're at. We give them out like not for free. Like, you know, we like film some content with, you know, our podcast or something. But yeah, we give them out in events. So come check us out like whenever we're at any conference.
They're real world assets.
They really are. Yeah. This is the real world asset.
Another question from the chat. Are there plans to expand beyond Asia Pacific region? Does that make sense, or is that like really your bread and butter, your specialty? And at least in the short term, I would imagine there's a lot of work to do there.
No, definitely. So I think okay, so we are both investment bankers who, I mean, I'm based in Asia. I've been based out in Asia for the last 10 years, but I did start my career here in the US, and I've done deals in the US. I've done deals in LATAM, in EMEA. So to the question, do we have the ability to bring similar asset classes on chain from other regions? We do. Now, the reason why we were starting with Asia is because there's a huge gap in the market. It's a massive, like, even if you just take the first product which we have, which is Asia credit, 20 trillion in the real world, you know. So even if they take a sliver of that, it's pretty good business, and it also means that there's a massive opportunity in crypto to bring this on chain. But to the question, of course, we think that, you know, there's the ability to span in different markets. What's interesting with sort of our backgrounds is we do know that origination is very important. Like, the ability to find these deals is very important. So for my co-founder and I to want to expand in other markets, we would look to partner up with people that are similar to us, or sort of have our backgrounds, can like find these cool things, and build it. So have we thought about it? Of course. Is it short term? Probably not. Is it, you know, in the next like 3 to 5 years? Like, yeah, definitely. Like, we would look at it.
Yeah, seems like carving that slice out of a $20 trillion market is a good first priority, to say the least. Kind of curious, like, is this possible in any capacity without crypto?
Hmm.
Like,
No.
could you do this without blockchain?
No. And actually, that's actually what's interesting with our product. And the reason I say no is that, you know, a lot of the thrust of crypto and what I guess people are calling digital assets, like that's really the push now in the US, is like digital assets, is the blockchain a more efficient rail or infrastructure to deliver these products? One of the things that we have learned working in banks for, you know, almost 15 years, very slow institutions, there's a lot of inertia, and there's not a whole lot of reason to disrupt themselves. And even if they know that they're going to be disrupted, you know, these are guys that have sat in their seats for like 20 years. Like, why would they want to just like relearn something? And then there always has to be some impetus for a large change like that to happen, particularly for our product. It's just the way that the rails are set up. So like, I was using the example of like a Philippine, you know, fixed income instrument. Like, why can't I sit in Singapore today? I cannot get that, you know, and I, you know, have relationships with, you know, DBS Bank and Interactive Brokers and the Robinhood equivalent and all that stuff. I can't get it just because that's the way that the traditional rails are set up, and they are fine with that. And you know, so the traditional system is not going to all of a sudden just start expanding all their access, you know, across borders. There's a lot of reasons why this is the case. I think there are sort of, you know, currency, like FX considerations, like currency controls, and like particular markets in APAC. But a lot of it just is, if I'm a large Filipino conglomerate, I'm just happy if my distribution is only within my country, and that's actually like how it works for a lot of these large issues. Where crypto comes into play is crypto has the ability to, once you put this in sort of a yield token, like, we still have to operate within like regulatory regimes. Like, we can't just like distribute things randomly. But you know, crypto opens up those rails where if the old world financial system is not going to distribute a product into different markets or basically like open up access globally, we can, because we have the instrument to do it from a tech perspective. But we also have the ability, like I was saying, because of our relationships, we understand the originators on the bank side. So they're like, we won't do something they're not okay with. We say, okay, hey, like we're buying your asset, we're going to tokenize it, and we're going to distribute it. So they're okay with it. And we also know the regulators, because that was also part of our job, you know, as bankers. Like we have to understand in these markets, like what will they allow, what won't they allow. And this is always shifting. Like with RW, like regulation is a whole nother beast. But for us, like the rails actually enable this sort of investment because it does democratize just the access to these things. So the blockchain for us is a very critical piece of the ability for us to like actually deliver this.
Got it. And like pulling on that thread a little bit further, like what are the considerations? Seems you've chosen Monad, but what's important to you as builders when evaluating the thousands of chains?
This is always a cool story because I get this question all the time. Like, why did we come build on Monad? And actually, you know, my first exposure to the Monad ecosystem was Monad Madness Bangkok. You know, it's where the whole thing started.
Yes.
And I remember you guys, I remember like, the first time I saw Danny, he was like running up and down because he was shooting content for like Pipeline. I was like, what is this chain that has this like crazy like media game? So that was like my first exposure to you guys. But, you know, so for those who don't know, Monad Madness Bangkok, it's a pitch competition. And at that point in time, we were quite early. I think I was like maybe 3 or 4 months into like actually building New Digital. At the time, I was talking to a lot of different blockchains like Solana. Like I had a Solana super team sticker on my phone like back then. So I'm, you know, close with the guys there. I think a lot of cool builders in Solana.
Definitely.
There are, you know, particularly like RWA chains, which we're also close with, you know, so we were deciding like where we wanted to go. The assumption was as an early builder, you must pick a chain because you can't just go multi-chain on day one because no one knows who you are. So you kind of need to build your reputation somewhere. So I pitched, you know, on the big stage, and that was like a massive stage with big lights, and that was crazy. But there was so I did this thing in my pitch where on the last slide I put my my Telegram, like the QR code to my Telegram. But the reason I did it was because I was fundraising at the time, so I wanted VCs to like reach out to me. Like that was the purpose of doing it. What ended up happening was the community just like it was insane. Like my Telegram for the next 2 hours when I left stage, and I was like still sitting in the audience, but I was just getting like completely blown up, like my TG. And you know, it was community members that were just like excited and wanted to learn more about what I was building. It was ecosystem builders in Monad that just comes like, hey, like love what you're building, like, let's collab. I did get VCs, and like I was very happy that it helped me close my raise after Madness. But it was my first introduction to this broad ecosystem where every component matters. Like the tech matters definitely. Like for us, we're moving hopefully, you know, hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars of TVL across chain. So it has to work. It can't break. It has to be fast. Institutions have to be comfortable that it's like institutional grade enough. And to be honest, like, you know, I didn't know that much, to be honest, about like the tech with Monad. So I was watching all of like Keone and James's like, you know, podcasts and everything they're doing. And I got comfortable with all that stuff. Right.
Yep.
But then our thesis as I guess an RWA protocol is you need a very vibrant DeFi ecosystem for us to be valuable because composability is so important to us. And it's really just the personal relationships that I made with, as you were mentioning, like at the top of, you know, of this, like at this point, like they're like personal friends now, you know, like all the builders in the DeFi ecosystem. I'm impressed by them. Like I like hanging out with them. I think that the products that they're building are really high quality products. It's been validated because a lot of these teams are also now funded by, you know, by VCs. So the caliber of the DeFi ecosystem was super attractive to me. And then the community. I mean, we've talked about the community. Like I love the Monad community. Like, you know, it was actually like, you know, when the Monad card thing came, and then like a bunch of the community members were like, "Oh, congrats! Like, you know, like you made the community card." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I'm like kind of just an ad now, you know. Also,
100%. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
And that's the best thing. Like there's no distinction like, oh, you're a product builder, so you can't be in the community. That would be crazy.
yeah,
And like we were talking about earlier with the cross pollination between, you know, ecosystem and community is just incredible. But yeah, I mean, shout out the community. They have really, as a unit and also as individuals, really gone out and made things happen in the Monad ecosystem that directly impacts the success of the chain, the success of the ecosystem. And sure, there's other great things going on. There's great tech under the hood. There's great builders, awesome products, great ecosystem taking shape. But without the community as like the glue to hold
Yep.
that all together, I think we would be in a different spot right now.
100%.
So if your community lasts, you're not last, except in the yeah.
Except in the meme.
Yeah, exactly. Community first. It is real, and it's really impressive. Not only that, but also how long some people
Yep.
have really like stuck with it and just showed that they're genuinely passionate about Monad, and they're here for the ride from day one. So
Well, and it's, so it's actually interesting, right? Because I know that on the timeline, there's a lot of discussion now about community and the way that things played out and all this stuff. But, I'm someone that, like I mentioned, like I've been to events, in my context, mostly in Asia, across all these events. And I think that, so I meet the community members and I see who the people are that are really contributing. And what I would say is, every single one of those person, is like the outcome was the outcome.
Mhm.
Right. So it was a very organic, like, you sort of, you get what you take out of it. For us too, which is interesting is, we've actually hired like a few community members. Yeah.
Nice.
So for us, like, communities have become builders with us as well. So, so that's a shout out. If you have a certain market that we're trying to get into, hit us up.
There you go. Yeah. And I know you mentioned LATAM, I think, as a potential future market. I know that's an area where the community's been a little bit lighter historically, but is starting to grow. And we have some killers in LATAM, as well as every single region on Earth, which is the unique power of crypto communities. So yeah, Monad community is awesome.
Yeah,
Sure.
100%.
Can't be understated. Also kind of curious and I think we're over time here. Do you have another minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Who's like the ideal user for Mu Digital? Because like assumption based on our conversation, anyone can use it.
Yep.
And it has generally a benefit in getting greater access to new investment opportunities. But like, who do you think is one going to benefit the most from this, and like, who are you really trying to attract to the platform?
No, definitely. For us, we build for DeFi, but there's a lot of different like flavors of like what people like to do within DeFi. For us, it's the power DeFi user that not only wants a base earn or yield asset, it's someone that's going to go take that asset and then go play around everywhere else. So, there's this concept in DeFi now, which is popular of like, so this is like the leverage loop farm, so you take a base asset, you leverage loop it in a money market. So, in crypto, or sorry, in Monad parlance, it's like a Curvent, a Town Square, a Zona, like guys like that. Some bigger names like Morpho Euler. Like we're going to be working with all these guys. So take our asset, loop it, but then trade it also and speculate on the yields in a place like Pendle. And Pendle's kind of the only game. We're close to those guys. Alpha Drop, we'll be there. So we want a user that doesn't just like hold our product, like that actually interacts with DeFi. And what we've seen in this whole like RWA narrative, I'd say over the last like 2 years, is the worst thing that can happen for RWA assets is someone actually just buys it and holds it, because then there's no secondary market, there's no liquidity, and it's actually not creating a flywheel at all. And so even for us as a builder, we want someone that wants to go play around in DeFi and explore different narratives. And we just want to provide the base Lego, which is a stable Lego. So you're not going to get liquidated on our asset. You can still decide if you want to, how much leverage you want to put on and whatever, like with our assets, but our assets going to be safe, but you should still go play in DeFi. So that's, for us, we're looking for those type of users. That's everyone from like, the everyday retail user to like, there are also like large, like institutional funds, like liquid funds that like our product too. But we're made for everyone. As long as you're a DeFi user and like interacting with DeFi, that's who we want on our platform.
Bingo. Well, we should have some of those watching today. If not many, hopefully many.
Yeah.
This has been a ton of fun. I don't know. We often do a little final alpha, which we stole from Kobe and Ledger's Up Only podcast very comfortably 2 years ago because it was not a thing anymore, and now it is a thing again. So let's do it anyways. But shout out Up Only. Up Only is so back. 8 episodes upcoming, brought to you by Coinbase. But today on Monad in the Morning, we're going to do Final Alpha as well. And it doesn't have to be alpha in the traditional sense. I don't know if we've ever done this directly before, but we typically ramble a little bit so you can think about it. It can be, a quote from a movie, a takeaway from one of your favorite books as a kid, something that your parents or grandparents used to say to you. It could be your favorite recipe or anything in between.
Yeah, I can give a good quote, which it made me think about it a lot actually when I was in residency, like surrounded by all the crack builders that were there. One of my mentors when I was still a banker, he said this to me: make the world bend to your will. And if you're a founder, that is absolutely how you need to act every day, because you are getting doors slammed in your face every single day. You're getting so many no's. You're always fighting for attention and mind share, whether it's on the X timeline or just in general with customers, with business development partners, with investors. So you must believe in yourself so much that you make the world bend to your will. So I can say that that's something that I definitely bring to Mu Digital. But for anyone that wants to build something cool in crypto, you have to start with that mentality, because you just have to be thick-skinned.
100%. Clip it. That's Final Alpha, and a great one at that. Patrick, appreciate you being here with us. We're going to stick around for a couple minutes and spin the wheel for the community members who asked some questions live on the show today. You're welcome to stick around. No pressure.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll stick around. It's awesome.
All right, let's do it. Where is the wheel? Oh, it's down there. Patrick, are you able to reach that that funny little wheel? Appreciate it. All right, so we've added a new prize or two. We've got some of the old reliable prizes, but just to let the community know what we're working with. I'm not seeing, where are the new prizes? What did I do? Oh, 20 push-ups. So I don't know. We cannot force Patrick to participate in this. However, you are welcome to participate.
Let's
How
go.
this works is if you land on the 20 push-ups slice of this wheel, then you, the viewer, get to pick who you want to see do 20 push-ups on camera.
Let's go.
Pretty straightforward. I thought we had another new one.
Yep.
Jessup, did we?
Yep. So we also added viewer of the week. So essentially, we're going to add you. If you land on that and you get it, you'll be added to the countdown as viewer of the week. So that's like a huge shout out opportunity for you.
Yes. I think
You forgot to
there's
add it.
Yeah, I forgot to put that on the wheel.
That was something.
That's why I couldn't find yes. That's why I couldn't find it, because it wasn't there. However, we will add it, and I think I'm just having this idea right now. It seems very obvious, but if we're doing viewer of the week, Jessup, we should have clipper of the week.
So I was thinking of that, but that's not necessarily a wheel thing. That's
It is certainly not a wheel thing. You
that's
can't
a-
randomly win a talent-based,
Yeah.
talent and effort-based competition.
But that is something that I was thinking about, and we'll be implementing that, like potentially adding the clip, like a clipper of the week, and that clip maybe during the intermission or something like that. But we're just going to continue to implement ways that can also help you guys grow and show our appreciation for all the hard work you guys are putting in.
More prizes, more fun. That is Monad in the Morning. Okay, we only had a couple questions asked live on stream today, and first spin is going to be for Mel, also known as VVIE3M. So Mel, Patrick, do you want to take it away?
Spin?
Yeah,
All
give it a spin. I'll hold it so you can put some wrist into it. Perfect. What do we got?
Name follows.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Mel actually already won a follow from the main account. I'm not sure of that though. So we will confirm for you, Mel. And you actually get a second spin because we asked a question of yours to both Charco, our first guest, and Patrick as well. So Patrick, want to do it again?
Go.
For Mel,
Round 2. Let's go.
round 2. Let's see. Well, that is a very tricky one because it's a block from the main account. So,
You can blame Danny for that one.
well, yeah, I guess you could. It's in some semblance, it is my responsibility. However, I actually am realizing that I don't know if you get followed by an account. So, like, say I follow Jussup and then I immediately go and block Jussup. When I unblock Jussup, am I following you?
I don't know.
I would guess no, but so that might have been just like a total ruining of Mel's prize. But if that's the
too
case,
much.
the rules are the rules. This is Monad in the morning. I don't make the rules. Somebody else does, and it's typically Kevin. So sorry, Mel, or congrats, Mel. I'm not sure which it is, but hope you're having a great day either way. Next up, we have another longtime question asker, Monad in the morning super fan from _SA. This spin is for you, Patrick. Go for the trifecta.
One more. Let's go.
John W. Rich Kid video.
John W. Rich Kid will make you a video, and
I don't think he has delivered one yet, but we will make sure he does.
Yep. Well,
And
we'll gently
suggest it.
gently nudge him. That's not one that we have full control over the outcome, but hey, from SA, appreciate you tuning in every week. We see you. We appreciate the great questions as well. It is amazing listeners from the community that help us figure out what the community wants to learn about some of the best projects building in the Monad ecosystem. So either way, prize, no prize, video from John or not from SA, we appreciate you, as well as all our listeners. We only asked, like I said, a couple questions live on the show today.
Why don't we do a tradition? Bring back like a,
Should we bring it back?
a random number.
Okay, so to give context to Patrick and anyone who has not been a super OG Monad in the morning listener, we used to give out prizes like intermittently throughout the show, and then it became like really distracting and hard to have any like reasonable, moderately serious conversation.
Dude, you guys need to settle down. We don't even have a number yet.
They get very excited for this, and I don't blame them. If I was tuning in, I would as well. But we used to do like trivia and like guess the number in the chat, and then if you got it right, we would spin the wheel for them. I love the idea, Jessup. Let's bring it back today. Patrick, do you have any trivia that you could so we have the chat on the screen over there. So how it would work would be
Just
like
write something down so that I can see it, and then I'll watch the chat.
write something down is actually much easier said than done.
There, there's nope.
This is we work on technology, not like
We would need something
pen
to
and paper.
write on.
Oh, the notebook.
I got you.
All right, so you would like write an answer and you can ask the question out loud, and it could be like, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 1 trillion. It could be, what's my favorite vegetable?
They're going straight for the numbers.
Yeah, they went straight.
Yeah, so it'll end up moving quickly, so we'll have to be able to spot it on the screen there. But any ideas?
Can I do any topic?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking about a team that was at Monad residency, either cohort 1 or cohort 2. So there's 30 answers. Or sorry, there's 20 answers.
Oh. The submissions are coming in. I don't see anything yet. Seeing a lot of Chog, Mew Digital, Kizzy, Kuru. Kuru wasn't there.
I'm not thinking about myself. Not feeling myself right now.
Someone asked for the question again. It is
So it was a
name
team that was at.
a team that was at the Monad Founder residency at Network School in Singapore between August 15th and September 15th, 2025. And we don't have
There's 20 options, guys.
many of the teams being listed were not there. However, that is understandable to not have memorized all 20 teams.
Wow, I thought this was going to go way quicker.
Some of these
Yeah,
teams I
I
haven't
was
even
gonna go
heard
quicker.
of. I'm really questioning if they're real startups.
Perrine's not a team. Good call.
They're pretty well known.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you guys have gotten all of them but this one.
Do I give a hint?
Nah.
I feel like, I mean, any hint that comes to my mind is like
Yeah.
extremely obvious,
Yeah.
but maybe you have a better this is probably our longest trivia spin yet.
Yeah.
So I
If
really
only they would
I like
get
it. Yeah. Someone's gotta get it.
People are getting closer. Still haven't said it.
Only fans would understand it.
Nothing.
Wow.
Oh, you're getting close.
Yeah, you guys are getting closer.
All right, drop your hint.
Goonfi. Goonfi
that
on
is
chain.
a good hint.
Dude, I did put a hint. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Let's go.
Did you not hear my hint?
Yeah, I heard yours was more subtle though. Yours was like very conversational. Who was that? Started with a V, right?
No reason to kill you.
Well, I don't want to give you a reason, so we're gonna give you a prize. Really hope it's a good one.
Yeah, let's hope it's not a main block.
I'm gonna allow Patrick to continue spinning. Wash my hands from this.
I'm gonna try not to block someone else here.
Yeah.
This would be a good one.
20 push-ups.
Oh, okay. So how it works is you pick who does the 20 push-ups. This was definitely
Soul Sal, the answer was fans 3.
Oh, yes.
And it's Patrick. Patrick, are you willing to do
Do it?
Of course.
All
I
right.
didn't get my morning workout in, so this is good.
Here,
Do I have to do it on the set?
You don't have to get on the counter. It's okay. We've done that previously with
I thought John Richke did it, right?
Yep, he did. He did. We feared safety issues, but right in front of that. Yep. Perfect. You set your own style. Oh, that's good form. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, he's still going. Incredible. That was you got
So Chog had a strength challenge against Monorail.
Oh yeah.
So there was a strength challenge in residency. It was like Chog versus Monorail.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Cohort 2 didn't we have one? So what's up, Chog? Come fight me. I actually don't want that at all.
That was you got faster as you continued. That was very impressive. You were ready for that one.
It's my morning workout. I like that.
That was fantastic. I think we might as well throw in a spin for a clipper. We got a spin for a clipper.
There was one last week that I thought I sent to you guys that was really good. Who was that?
Oh, that was Alexis, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one, and even Kevin, I think retweeted that one.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? We're declaring it. We're implementing it live on the show. Alexis is our clipper of the week. Honorable mentions go out to Sovan for sure. Sovan's been crushing the clip game. Q, who I think has been doing a little bit more original content than clipping. Respect it nonetheless. Love to see it. Shout out Q. Nuke Lion doing a great job clipping, and honestly, you probably never thought you would hear me say this, but one of the things that I'm most excited about with some of the Monad community clippers, is that they're not just clipping Monad in the morning. They're going out and they're clipping a bunch of different media. Patrick doing some very cool stuff on the media front, podcasting front. That would be a good show to clip for sure. But I think a lot of these accounts are really going to grow just by being like a shelling point of information in the Monad ecosystem. The community members who have been around for a while, you know the projects, you know the other community members and the users, you know the story behind the Monad technology, and you literally as the community, like we were saying, are the glue that holds these that connects all these different components together. So there's certainly potential for those who want to reach out and grab the opportunity to grow quite a bit. There's going to be a ton of attention on Monad, certainly for the next couple months, but if we have anything to say about it, for a lot longer than that as well. So shout out the community clippers. Alexis, you are the clipper of the week. You will be featured on the graphics and branding for next week's show as well. So appreciate you very much.
I just Nacho just asked what is Patrick's handle, and it's literally on the stream.
We gotta the
Nice,
next thing we
Nacho.
need. The next thing we need is clickable links on stream.
That would be sick.
Like
yeah.
if you could just click and you could go right to Mu Digital or Patrick's Twitter.
Without leaving the stream though.
Right, exactly. You just do it all right there. But hey, maybe that's some future innovation. For now, go follow Mu Digital. Go follow Patrick.
Spin for Alex.
Of course. Alexis, spin for you. Why not?
One more.
Take it away.
Let's go.
I lost my view. Oh, there we go. Main account block. Thanks for playing.
Wow. I don't think you guys want me to do more spins.
Hey, better you than me. You're the fall guy today, Patrick. Appreciate you coming.
I gotta get upset.
On a fun.
It's been awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This
Love
has
it.
been awesome.
Love it.
All right,
Alrighty.
see you next week.
See you next week. Monad in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. And by next week, the 28th, we'll have lapsed. So we will have the big reveal to talk about. Get ready. We got a lot in the pipeline. Trademark, no pun intended. See you next week.